Oh,
We
nice.
should be live now, ladies and gentlemen.
Let us see.
Lettuce? You've got some lettuce for us?
No, I have cabbage.
I see. Cabbage does sound a lot like nonsense.
My cabbage cart.
You are terrible. All right, let's just get right to it, Cabby.
Seems we are
right.
on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Weekly WAYPN. I'm Karl.
And I'm somebody. Sunny.
Dude, you are a pain.
And then we also have...
We have some other people here with us.
We have some other peoples.
And they can talk if they want. They don't have to talk. They can just...
No pressure.
No pressure.
All the pressure.
All right. It is time for you to do the talking thing while I look through the picture thing.
We have Joseph. Before we continue, do you want to do the screen share onto the Discord? Or
no? Yes. I should probably do that.
Okay.
If you wanted to participate in such a thing, you should go to the Discord. It's a thing that's happening.
That we have.
For less than a cup of a seasonal beverage, you can become a Discord.
Yes, come on to
Actually, that's what we should say. Like, if you're gonna buy a pumpkin spice, at least.
Oh my god, I think pumpkin spice is probably like $8 now.
Yeah, no, like
less than that. Don't even talk about
supporting us is one pumpkin spice if you get the elite member.
Actually, 4.
4?
No, wait, $3 is our usual, right?
So no, I'm saying the elite is like $8.90 or something. So I think
7. Okay, whatever. Anyway, Joseph says 15th anniversary survivors for Kingdom Death: Alistair, Urza, Lucy, and Zachary. The scale creep is so bad, they've had to give Zachary a whole new base size. They look good though, and it's not so pronounced they don't work together in a board game. It allows for better detail and feet and ankles big enough to allow me to drill pin holes up into.
That's the one problem we have with this game is like if somebody like touches the model without intention. Right?
Yeah, I accidentally popped your survivor off.
You did 2.
One only. I only do 1 by accident, really.
I see.
But the base was made of faces. It wasn't gonna sit properly anyway.
One was by accident, the other one was on purpose.
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, no, I can see exactly what he's saying because the starting survivors are just about naked, and these guys have
fully clothed. Yeah,
well, they've got a lot of gear on them, and I have a feeling that. Do you remember the white-haired guy?
Oh, is that him?
Yep, he only comes up to here, I think.
This is his maximum loadout.
This is the 15th anniversary special version of him.
Penguin.
Hey, Penguin.
Hello. Being a sneaky, he says he's being sneaky.
He's sneaky, yeah. I reckon he looks good. I like the color scheme.
Actually, if you could go to the blue-haired one,
yes.
That really caught my eye. I like the cape. The cape was very well done too.
I will go to.
I would say for this model, the skin work is not his best.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, many milking this lady has.
I think, unfortunately, the eyes are still
a bit googly, but from the back, if we take a look, I think this is very crispy, no?
I think it's good cape work, but I don't think it's the best.
Yeah.
Because we still see a lot of scratchiness. I think there's some dry brushing here and so on.
I think the hair definitely caught my eye.
Oh, the hair is really nice, but I think a lot of this is the sculpt.
Yeah, agree. Like I can tell that he's done probably a dark base and then dry brushing, dry brushing and a wash over top. And
I'm not sure if there was a wash.
There was definitely a wash. I could tell by the in between the top, the scalp area, how pronounced that is, the recesses. I'm very sure he used some form of wash.
But anyway, I still think that this is sort of standard Joseph. So
Yeah.
I think, like, I think standard Joseph is pretty good. I think that his golds have really stepped up from the last time.
Yeah.
I really gave him trouble about them. I think, like, there's nothing on here where I go, oh, that's no good, or this needs to this or that. I think
This cape is, I think, very well done.
Yes, I like this cape. It's a lot more subtle than the other one. Yeah, I think that one I like. It's not that the blue cape is bad. I think that this might be the best done of all of them, though.
I think the color choices are also very simultaneous. Sorry, not simultaneous. Cohesive.
Yes.
Very comes together nicely. I mean, but obviously he is choosing based off the art.
Mm-hmm.
But it just works so nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, do our guests, silent guests, want to say anything?
Well, as you were saying before about the scale creep,
Yeah.
probably Kingdom Death Monster is one of the games that can actually pull it off in lore.
Yeah.
Because it could be like spiritual energy, kind of like building them up to be, like where are they getting all this protein to?
Well, as far as I know, it's an all-protein world. Because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of plant life.
I can't say that it's all protein.
Yeah, so
there's a high amount of fat coming from somewhere, right? I don't know where. But
Well, I mean, there's those
Phoenix
Phoenix,
with the white
there's those,
line.
the Phoenix drumsticks that one
the
character
Phoenix
was carrying in their backpack.
drumsticks.
All right. Well, I think it's time for us to move on to post number 2 of 340.
Well, from Joseph. In the review, I was told I should do something with the gaps on the fairy wings to add some shade or color. They've always been green, but it doesn't show up on the zoomed out pictures. So here's some close-up pictures of my fairy's crevices.
Phrasing.
Yeah, there is green in the white of the wings too. Yeah, I was actually more talking about the actual dots rather than the outlining of the dots, but
So I think in the back
still
you can
works.
see it a lot. But yeah, I think like when we saw the thing, I think like every second or third one of those dots was green in the artwork, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was like a lighter color, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like there's nothing wrong with what's been done here, and I think like the reason I really like what Joseph does is he gets stuff done, right? And I think the problem is at what point do you just go, no, it's done, I'm done.
Plus, he's doing it because he wants to actually play.
Yeah.
And I think this is pretty great for tabletop.
The only thing that I would say is it seems like the sort of shading over here, like he's obviously done it with a airbrush, right? But it seems to be a little splattery, if you know
I
what
don't
I'm saying.
necessarily mind that just because of like a butterfly wings.
Yeah.
I think if it was too smooth, the transition would look very weird, actually. So the splattering actually creates that organic feel to it. I don't mind.
All right.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I'd prefer the other way, and that's okay. People are allowed to have differences in their preferences. So next up, we've got Davith, and Davith is making more
David.
things.
Yes. Another project I've had percolating around my brain that I finally got built over the last few weeks. 1 pack of Outriders for my Space Wolves. Plenty of arm and head swaps out of 2 decades of Fenrisian plastics I've had lying around, including a fair bit of filing and grinding to remove the shoulder pads and fit SW specific ones. I think, is it meant to be, Space Wolves, okay. I thought he wanted to say GW. Anyhow, the big job though was the Invader ATV, a long maligned kit, not without good reason. I wanted to see if I could give it a bit of movement there. There's more, but I will just come out and say, Davith, it's great that you're building, but you haven't done any painting for as long as we have seen you. posting. So we would like to see some painted minis. You've done a plethora of constructed stuff. Please paint something. Okay. We will move on.
Before we move on, I just do want to say something about this kit. I hate this kit.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it takes... So, there was a previous... So, I'll just type in... Space Marine attack bike. And, like, I really used to love this particular vehicle, right? Because it was so characterful and over the top and silly. See if I can just get just the image so that we can look at it together and it's not in the... Oh my god. Could I have a few more pixels, please? But yeah, so this is how it used to look, right? And in a way, it kind of makes sense, right? It makes more sense than the other one that you've got, right? But it's kind of like, this is what Warhammer is. It's mildly ridiculous in that they're like, all right, well, we like these bikes and that sort of thing, but what can we do to add a heavy weapon on? It's like, oh, we'll add a side cart. And it's like, it works because the guy's a space marine and space marine armor is essentially like that of a tank and that sort of thing. But it's still ridiculous, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's just... I'll show you why it's so hated. So if we go back for a moment...
Should we be doing that or moving on?
Yeah, no. I'll just quickly explain why. I'm going to be quick.
When men say they'll explain quickly.
Oi! Stop it. So right here we see with this, like his weapon is almost hitting this guy's head, right? It doesn't appear to have any way to move up or down. It only goes around 360. Right? So it's got to be on the same plane as that guy.
Okay.
And if it moved down, it would literally block this guy's vision.
Yeah.
And
you could bonk him on the head.
And it would probably actually
shoot the front of
that.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't make any sense. The other one is ridiculous.
Honey.
Okay, fine.
We all know that GW doesn't make any sense.
No.
Okay.
They didn't make sense before, but now they don't make sense and they don't work.
Okay.
All right.
Say okay. Now we shall move on.
Fine.
To let's say first for the new year, stressed but painting. Wonder why he is stressed.
Probably life.
Fair enough. Well, nothing better than creating these. What are these?
I don't know.
These thingy-me-bobs.
So I like these little cyclopean guys.
The pose though. It's very dynamic.
So what I think he's done well with the painting, right, is to make the eye interesting.
Yeah, he's tried to do like a cross. Is it?
I think it's or a triangle or something there, but I do think that he should have coloured the eye something very different. Either made like the whole eye white or like a distinctively non-greyish colour.
I think it's because the green that he's used for the eye, the surrounding area, is very close to the grey.
That's what I'm saying.
Say.
Yeah.
So I think maybe like an orange or even a red
might
be good. Or a more saturated green of some sort.
Because I think everything that he's done is fine.
Great.
Yeah, like I like it. No, I also think that the basing looks really good. I like the basing.
He still has the little lip on the side that could use some fill up, but yeah.
It could, but I mean, I don't mind that. I'm okay.
He's stressed. And he's painted something, which is good.
Yes, and I haven't been painting the last 2 weeks either, so I can't really sit on a high horse. All right, next up,
we have Larry.
Larry has a flu.
Added some grime and scorching. Wanted it to be irregular and uneven, especially since the movie never really showed any. did a bit of a comic booky thing with the viewport to indicate glass, rather than tidying up a little blue that got on the viewport frame. I think I may be mostly done. I feel it might be a bit too blue.
I don't mind it.
Okay.
Look, like, this thing isn't meant to be the feature. It's meant to be a piece of terrain, as far as I know. And, like, I think that he's done as much as you can with this, considering the source material. So, would you like to read out any of the comments, or has there been a small war over the ATV?
No wars over ATV. We were just talking about Ducky's great works. And Ducky say, "Thank you. I'm loving the Mitsubishi Eclipse from Revel.
Oh, yeah, I know.
The car.
Yeah.
Next, you just need to make a Toyota. And then
I think
BMW.
Toyotas have a very different reputation where he is. All right.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yes.
I have a thought on this drop pod. I'm kind of conflicted
Oh yeah.
because I understand conceptually if you're building something like a drop pod, you're just gonna all use the same it's gonna be all made of the same type of metal. But visually it's boring. I think like those raised panels, I think there needs to be just some color, a little bit more color variation to make it stand out because it also seems like a fairly large piece.
The problem is it's a Star Wars piece, so it's going to be done in the same way that historical pieces are. So he's trying to copy what they did on Star Wars, and like he said, even doing this was going beyond what they did on the actual film set.
Oh.
Yeah, I totally get that, and I understand what it be. Yeah, it's just, but then like visually, it's just kind of like meh.
Yeah.
It's
well
executed, and I understand, but it's just like and I understand.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing, but like
probably the you got to push it past reality almost in some cases.
Yeah.
Especially with the thruster bells as well. They don't really look burnt out like they.
Right. Maybe a little bit of burnt iron or something. Yeah, something.
He does have some burn on them, but not a massive amount. But we're moving on. All right, next up we have Larry again. All right, would you like to read out?
As I was working on grime and such, I went ahead and did some on the car. I'm not done, but it's looking better than it was. Still need to finish the flame thing and some other things too, as well as touch-ups. I thought he said he finished this guy.
No. We've seen it finished this week. So he's called it done this week, which I think is like several posts on. So like.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to do a quick look, see if I can discover it again. Okay, because I know that it's somewhere along here. I mean, we do have quite a few. Yeah, there we go. Okay. That's another update, I believe. Yeah, so we'll move on from this one because there's a couple of updates on this one. Yes, Larry is always very productive.
Yeah.
He's a lot like Joseph.
As Joseph and RJ. RJ is just like, I didn't do much.
Yes.
And then I see 20 minis have been started at the same time.
Well, he's not as focused as Larry, I would say.
Yeah, like Larry and Joseph actually like sort of focus on the thing and finish the thing. What's his name?
What is this karate chop motion that's going on?
I don't know.
And Larry is
going in the side angle.
Karate chop.
Anyway, I'll read what Larry says next.
Yeah.
The zenithal on this isn't great. So the yellow I originally put down wasn't working as I intended. So I just put a couple of coats of the gold yellow over it, added the base blue for the jeans, still have to do highlights and shadows. Pleased with the skin so far, but I may up the highlights a little. Forgive the horrible grammar as I'm very tired and should be in bed.
Alright, well, we actually see this one done up, but yeah, he's using the Vallejo gold yellow, and he is using scale 75 Mediterranean blue.
It is so saturated.
Oh yeah, no, and like that's what I love about this character.
Oh, is that how he's meant to look?
Yeah,
Saturated?
in the comics,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
he's ridiculous.
I love the pose of him though. He's like, who put this steel beam here?
Yeah, let me crush it. And he did.
Alright, so next up we've got Hazik.
Yeah, Hazik. Testing out lighting arcs using aluminium wires.
Aluminium wires.
Oh, didn't someone give
brass wire, I think, was the one we last heard.
Yeah, like some sort of a fishing wire. Was it you, Rumble? Someone said something about the thinner
Yeah, that's why I think it was brass wire. Sorry, you go.
I think it was one of the like the kit bashed things. It's like the gauge of the microphone wire kind of was a bit too thick on one of those that made it, look a little bit out of scale.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I think that's the one I was talking about.
Okay, let's take a look. I'll go.
Is it safe? Okay, yeah, you're on a different browser.
Yes. Of course it's safe. Well, anyway, would you like to comment on this?
It's safe in the sense that, Facebook tends to get upset. So you want me to read the comments on this post, is it? Love the plants on the base.
Not so much that. I was going to get your thoughts on it.
Oh, my thoughts on it. I feel like I'm used to seeing a certain level of contrast
with
Hazik's work.
He's not finished yet. He's just putting in those to sort of test things out.
I know that you can't do anything at this point, so I feel like whatever I have to say.
Alright, if that's the case, we'll move on.
Yeah, because you see the wires, they're all fixed in place. I think he could have used a smaller one. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I think it's a lot more flexible than I've seen.
I think it's a matter of accessibility as well for him.
Yeah, well, I think it is for everybody. I mean, depends on the things that you're using and where you're getting them. Oh. All right, so next up we have
Calvinone. Ooh, Ducky say, ooh, the blue dino. But this dino special, he got electricity. Yep. And Calvinone says, Amphisbaena from Dragon Bait Miniatures, with a 4 base variety from Dragons and Lasers to show its versatility. So can you switch it out onto different bases or something?
I think he's sorry, read again, go up the top.
With a 4 base variety from Dungeons and Lasers.
Yeah, no, Amphibiana?
Amphisbaena.
Oh, I think this is the miniature he painted, and these are the bases, and he's sort of just showing off the different bases and like what would look best. I think probably the one with the ferns.
Yeah, just because it'll be nice with the greens of the serpent.
And I actually like the way that he's done separate colors for the underbelly and for the tops and everything. I also really like this base. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's very interesting. The one with the gold and the red runes on it.
Is it gold?
It looks gold to me.
I think he's gone with that, actually. That's the one he's gone.
I think like he just put it on top of it.
Oh.
See?
It looks gross.
Why does it look gross?
It looks gross. Just that one. The rest look nice.
Sunny. Easy to please, apparently.
Yes, I am.
Alright, next up we have
Larry once again. Is there more of this? Should we skip ahead if there's more progress further up? Or
no? We'll just take a look at the progress.
Worked on Power Man Summer. Oh, that's his name, Power Man? Oh my god.
Power Man is Luke Cage. Luke Cage is Power Man.
Don't know who that is. Anyhow, some skin highlights.
I have failed.
Plus highlights for the shirt and the pants that added some medals. Did base coat for belt and shoes, but no highlight on those yet. But yes, I think the jeans is so jeansy. I love it. I was waiting for the highlights, and it has arrived.
The jeans is so jeansy that it's denimrific. Sunny. But one of the things that I like with this update is something that's not too crazy. Is just the shine that he's added to the belt buckle.
Yeah.
So you got the two tones there, and I think that looks really nice.
The steel bar looks pretty good too.
We'll see. Like, I mostly like the braces that he's got on. You know, I think they look good. Like, the steel bar is fine, but it's not.
It's
where
not
my
about
focus...
the steel bar, Sonny.
Yes, essentially,
it's
yes.
It's about Power Man.
All right. So next up, it's time for you to comment because I've already commented on this.
Oh, yeah, this one. Okay. Liam. Hi, everyone. I really need help. I want to custom make my own chapter very Celtic and use my family crest as a chapter badge and tartan for the sash or loincloth for high rank members from my Scottish side. And I'm just having a hard time thinking of a color scheme that will fit. These are just some examples, but any idea for the armor colors, please let me know. Oh, he's got a family crest and everything.
Yes.
Wow.
You know I have a family crest as well.
Really? Where? You never showed me these things.
All right. Well, would you like to comment on your thoughts for the color scheme?
I am thinky think. Ugh. I think the color scheme works. Nothing wrong with the color scheme, and I think you've got a good variety.
He's shown 3 different ones there.
Yes, so it's just a different sort of majority minority accent, but the same colors. So you've got yellow, white, and...
Alright, well, Sunny's just wrong, so I will...
Yes! I'm not talking about the tartan.
Yes,
okay.
I will read out my comment because it seems like I put a bit more thought into it. So for me, the first thing I would look at is this. Are these the colours of your ancestry? Because this is an important thing. Or is it having a good-looking marine? Because these are 2 different things. Some of the times what works with what you want will go against the tartan pattern. For me, the dragon is the central character of that tartan pattern, and I would use that particular red there. I would use that particular red because there is a reason it works. It contrasts very well against the greens and blue colours there. I would use a stark white for your lines, like your shoulder pauldrons and so on. I hope that advice helps. Alright, so if we take a look at his tartan pattern,
Yep.
we see we've got that big white line in the middle, right, with some, I think that's meant to be a pseudo gold there. You know,
yeah, probably a gold, yeah.
Yep, and the line itself is quite red. And that's why I was saying, because if you take a look at this, right, with none of these patterns do I see a great level of contrast against the tartan itself. The only reason why the tartan contrasts well against any of these is because of values. So we see here, it contrasts well against that because the green is a lighter value than that of the black. And then it contrasts well against here because these are all darker than the white. Whereas it doesn't actually contrast well because of the color patterning. So that's why I think he should go for that very bright, vibrant red.
The thing is with the red, right? I feel like it would be great as some form of an accent color. So like if one pauldron were red, or if the top half of the helmet were red, very specific ranking system could have the different reds applied to the different areas, just because the red is so incredibly striking.
Yeah, no, I think that the red is very striking, and I think you should go with that because that is the color of your house, right? Maybe do, for example, green or blue shoulder pauldrons and have that red character on there. Like if you But other than that, because that's the main thing that I look at with this. Because I think to myself, okay, you know, what are what are you trying to accomplish? And if you are trying to accomplish striking Marines, that red is where I would go. And then the white trims. Perhaps green, blue shoulder pauldrons if you're going to have that line as your symbol. But
I feel like if you do have the green, blue shoulder pauldrons, the Titan will be fighting with it a bit. It'll just feel like all bulky.
Well, I don't think that we can square this circle. I think, you know, we're just going to have to agree to disagree.
Okay.
All right. Next up,
we have Kit.
Yes.
Finally, getting back to some... Oh, no, wait, no. I can't read if they're here. Right? Kit.
Sure you can. No.
You gotta read your own post, man.
Nice. Just finally getting back to some work on Terravengian.
Terravengian. Okay. And where is he from? Which game is this?
He's from...
also for the Stormlight Archive stuff. So he's the Stormlight miniatures.
Yes.
Stormlight.
He is the Revengian. He revenges the terrors.
That's not his name. He's
Terravengian. He revenges the terrors.
Terraforms Mars.
He's the king of Cabron. Well,
the king.
Alright, so next up.
Mad King.
This isn't finished yet, is it?
No, not quite.
Yeah. But you've got a post further up on this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
with some really bad pictures. I'm worse at photography than I am at painting, so
it's okay.
Alright, would you like to read this one out? And then we'll just have a quick look.
Stormlight continues, chilling in the morning in the dining room with the missus, listening to KEXP, and starting on Nail and Wit. Since they're both clad in black, it seems appropriate to do them at the same time.
Yeah, it is. Black and white are some of the most difficult colors to get right. But this is just a whip, yeah?
Yeah, but I did do a whole lot more on the black. There's still some more. Yeah, there's some more pictures further up.
All right.
Like the next post up.
Okay.
All right.
And there it is.
Yeah, the white trim is a pain, especially on Nail's collar.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, no, it's hard with that level of scale to actually have gradations with your white, but yeah.
Especially when it's just a little trim on the edge of it's like literally just trim on the edge of the thing. It's like, okay, I'm not going to bother too much with gradations.
If it were me and I was working with white trims that small, I would not even do a white. I would just do like a super pale gray and call it a day. Because I actually started with that and didn't like it, so I came back with white. That works too. Like if you can still touch up more with the white over top, that way it still can, the white can still shine through. But it's always important that when we are doing white, we start with a light gray first.
And for the black, I basically did zero effort. It was just like a grayscale zenithal, and then I just used satin black with airbrush medium to just slap it over it and keep a little bit of the highlights. And just like, done.
Yep. That seems about a good technique to use for black.
Yeah.
I think it works.
All right. So next up, we've got Larry, and I think this is the final whip. Would you like to read it out?
Finally getting close to finished. I really thought he was finished a long time ago. Alright. Added a bunch of weathering, rust, soot, etc. and a little gentle OSL from the fire. I didn't want it too strong or it wouldn't look right. Hopefully it's clear enough in the close-ups. Lit a UV torch on it so show it off better, but it's not meant to under the UV normally. Repainted the tires black, then a light brushing of black or dark gray, followed by some of the rubber effects so the wheels look worn and rough. Still need to decide what I want to do with the glowy bits on the gun, but unless something is seriously wrong with this picture, that's about all that's left to do.
All right. Well, he shows us everything that he uses.
Using. And that's great because if anyone wants to
replicate
it, they know how to do it.
All right.
And that's what we like seeing here on WAYPN.
All right, and we have some more work where I think he's just done up the base a bit with this one, and
Isn't that a Star Wars base?
No,
it's a Marvel
Crisis base.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his distinctive base there. All right.
Hey, the gray on the concrete looks pretty good. Just needs a little highlighting.
All right, and then next up, it's Member Monday. All right, shall I read this out?
I guess.
Fine, we'll move on. It's okay. We've moved on. All right. So next up, we have someone else. I don't know who.
Are you sure? Is it
Yes.
someone else?
It's someone else. It's not me.
Okay.
I don't have to read this.
It's not me. It's definitely not me.
It's not me either.
Yeah.
All right, but I will not read my bad typos. I will.
Just pretend. That's what I do.
Nell and Wit now with metallics. I decided to return to an old favorite for quick and easy true metallics. Hit everything with a nice shiny silver, then use speed paints to add tint and shade. And on the top of metallics, if you're looking to try out a new metallic, the ionic metallics are very promising so far. I only have silver and gold at the moment, but they are mighty fine indeed. Excellent coverage, spray nicely through an airbrush, and they are very thick and creamy, making them excellent for dry brushing as well.
Wow, I've never heard of this Ionic brand.
So it's the Ammo Adams Smart Colors that they originally did the one box set of, and they kept saying they were going to extend the line.
Adam Smart, did you say?
ATOM.
Smart Colors. ATOM. It's the collaboration with Big Child Creatives.
The paints he usually uses.
Yeah, it makes sense when they finally extended the line that they rebranded it Ionic to differentiate them, because they are very different. Like the colors are very similar, but the paints are very different in their behavior or especially in their consistency. I mean, Ammo Adams are very thinner than Pro Acryls and go through the airbrush real easy, and these Ionics are super thick.
Oh.
Super pigment dense. So yeah, you would definitely have to thin them. They still spray great. Once you do thin them out, they thin out beautifully. And
You've got the Chimera ones too, right?
I've also got Chimera. Yeah.
Is it similar to that, like Chimera, the way that they behave?
I would say yes and no. Yes, in that they're very pigment dense, and I don't know. I can't comment on whether or not any of them are pure pigments like the Chimeras are. But they are very saturated, very pigment dense, but they're also much more consistent across the board. So they're good. They're all, whereas Chimeras are great, but they're more like artist paints in that every color behaves completely differently. So they all require more work, whereas these just
flat
out work.
Right.
I would put them on par with, for me, these are just as good. So far, they're proving on par with the Two Thin Coats paints.
Oh,
Just
okay.
different colors. Yeah, but with much better bottles. I hate the bottles on Two Thin Coats.
Oh yes, I can understand that. So we'll just do Joseph. So the final batch of my Christmas projects, all of them are Kingdom Death, Lantern Armor Aya, gaming skill, Elsbeth with added bow, so she has purpose on the board, Pin-Up Order Knight, Ringtail Vixen feels like an older sculpt, details aren't quite as defined as usual, Willow, Early Survivor Zelda.
Alright, well, let's take a look at these. So,
I've seen this one, and I wasn't as enthused with this particular post from Joseph because I feel that the skin work is not as smooth as his usual stuff.
And there is a lot of skin work to do on the Kingdom Death models.
Yeah. Normally he's very spot on with it, but...
Well, see, that's one of the reasons why I would like to play some more games of Kingdom Death with you, because I think that you like doing skin work, and...
I do.
There is a lot of skin on these models, that's for sure.
I would probably try to cover them up a bit, but
Why are we covering them up, huh? What's wrong with these ladies, huh?
We want some dignity. Yes.
Dignity in the face of death?
Yeah.
No dignity.
No dignity?
No.
Oh.
Look, we are equal opportunity offenders here, and and when you see the guys with those cod pieces, holy bejesus!
Well, hey, I mean, hey, it's still a protected area, okay?
Yeah, their
Very
areas
well
are always protected.
Well, look at these ladies. What's protecting them? Nothing.
I don't think this lady's going anywhere besides the garden path.
I think she's going places she does not realize where she's going. That's
I see. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it's Kingdom Death. Everyone's in danger all the time.
No, that's not true. Not when they're at the lantern piles.
Yeah.
Well, I think, like, for the most part, I like all of them. I think that it's pretty standard Joseph stuff, you know, like, he's done very well with the lanterns themselves. I think that the clothes, all of that looks great. I do agree that I think that the skin work is a bit lacking. But, like, if you take a look at the reference picture, the skin's very flat, if you take a look at it.
It doesn't matter. That's the manga style, you know. But Joseph always has a more sort of a smooth. Not so. You see, it's not so smooth as it usually is.
It's not nearly as smooth as
normally
the
very
usual
smooth.
work.
Yeah, it does a very good job. Oh well. Well, you'll get the next few lot, Joseph. You've always got more models.
It's true. He does always have more models.
All right. It's back to Silent Guest's turn.
Yes, silent guest turn.
Yeah.
All right. Pattern, Shalon's bonded cryptic spren. A very quick but satisfying paint job.
So, what is this for? Is this more Stormlight Archive?
It's also Stormlight. Yep.
It's
Yep.
an interesting model, to say the least.
What is the head?
That's a good question.
So we don't know.
They're just
Seems to be swirly things.
Chainmail tentacles.
It's his form in the cognitive realm. So, you got to go into a whole different. There's the physical realm, the cognitive realm, the spiritual realm, and the cognitive realm is the home of the friends. And so they have a different appearance on the cognitive realm versus the spiritual realm, or versus the physical realm. I mean, so
That would be very confusing how to paint something that's in the cognitive realm.
yeah.
Make it look like brains, I guess.
Alright, so next up.
There's more.
So these guys are finished, right? Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mostly. So, Stormlight minis I've painted / finished up over the last few days. Sadly, when I looked back at this picture, I realized that on Teravangian, there's two things there that should be paper and not part of the stone. So
oh yeah, I see it.
Paper right under this, so I need to go back and
I see that.
Yeah.
It's near the staff.
Oh, yep. I see it. I see it.
The staff and its feet. Yeah, there's two sheets of. There's one sticking out halfway, and another one is like almost fully sticking out.
I do still think that the Blue Knight could use some differentiators.
Yeah,
like
especially on the
chainmail.
metal skirt.
Yeah.
Probably from a visual standpoint, yeah, I was trying to be a little bit true to the concept of what shard plate is, and it's very different than but it would stand out a little bit more if I go through and put
even if the plate is that metal, like that doesn't necessarily mean that skirt right there is the same metal. Because it's shard plate.
I would agree, but in this case, yeah, I know, but it's fine. I totally agree with you visually, and I probably will go and darken and add like at least a black wash or something to it and darken, or maybe even come back with a burnt iron or something. But
yeah, I think an iron might be.
Yeah, in this case, straying from the artist conception it's probably be a good idea here. So.
All right.
All right. Next, we've got Hazik once again. Lord Croak is done. I think it's a piece.
All right. Well, let's take a look at it. See, there's one thing, Hazik, I think that you should really do, which is take another photo of this guy. Once you fully finished his base and everything, and have a proper white backdrop.
White or gray or black.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
just some backdrop.
Yeah, a blank something.
So
that we can appreciate all the detail work that you...
Yeah, because I think he's put a bit of work into these little tags down here. You can see there's like even a marble effect on those purplish ones there. Can you see it?
Yeah.
But if you're looking like here, it's a bit
hard to tell, especially because how bright the light is.
Yeah.
A bit hard to tell.
I think there's a chance there might be a flash. However, I do think that some of these feathers need some work because I think like they go from black to a very strong color.
Yeah, so it might need to touch it up a bit on the base area.
I like his feathers here where it's black in the middle and it goes out, right? If that's what you're going for here, you need to make that more deliberate and make that the middle line rather than the base. I like all of his little details. I like how he's done the marbling. I think all of that looks really good. I also like how he's done the purple in the scepters. I think that looks really good. But it is visually quite messy, especially against that backdrop.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say take another lot of photos of it, man, once you've finished up the base and just put it in a
backdrop of some
Yeah.
paper, whatever you have.
All
All
right.
right. Oh, who this, honey? Who this?
It's Joseph.
Are you sure?
Well, there's a million miniatures there, so it should be Joseph, right?
It's RJ.
And they are Kingdom Death models, so
Oh, yeah.
so Joseph, right?
Last two groups of KDM OSL whips. Well,
No, it can't be Joseph. He would have a lot longer text.
he would have longer text and more paint. This is only just the OSL.
That's true.
Nice.
But see, I'm really interested in why Warren's done this. So like
He's following a video tutorial that
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so he's mentioned this to us, I think on the Discord. That you set the colors and the light first so that you don't have to you can work around the light and still have the ability to fix things rather than you do the whole model and then you have one shot to do the lighting correctly.
I think
Something like that.
I think it's really interesting from the point of view of like learning how to paint, because when I take a look at all of these, I think so many of these would be great reference pictures, you know? But some of them I feel like some of the lighting is off. So mostly this girl right here, when we take a look at this spiral. Okay. Yeah.
So that's the source of the light?
I
Spiral?
do believe so. Oh no. It looks like I very well may have been wrong because I was looking at how it was up on the head more, but I didn't see the
No, but you're
angles of it.
definitely right. I think for that, the light reaches a little
Too
far.
high. Yeah, so see here, he's got that white, right? So if I'm looking at this correctly, it should cut off here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you go to the front facing picture, if you've got it.
This one?
Yeah, it should not reach too far onto the knee as well. It should not reach
Because it's blocked by this,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that
okay.
should not reach there. It should not also reach even as far as
over here,
there and the other side of the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly how far to go with light. Yeah, I can totally understand.
Yeah.
But that's why we are learning these
I
experiments.
think that light is always going to be your most difficult thing to learn.
Yeah, even the pink one, I think the pink one might be a bit too.
All right. And so this is a new thing that I've been, I think it's better as a Talk Tuesday, which is essentially it's a new year and people are trying to get their projects done. So I've been asking people, hey, do you want me to tag you and say, how's your project going?
Yeah.
And the reason I'm bringing it up here on the stream is because we had a few more people come in since then and ask questions and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and keep this up and I'm going to try and make sure that you guys are all a part of it. All right. So next up we have Larry.
Larry.
Even more Larry.
Larry has to say, time to add color to the dragon. Added a bit of glow to the base for OSL, but hesitant to add any to the figure. I just like how he looks, and it feels a bit comic booky that way to me. Dunno, may change it later. Anyway, here he is with and without UV. Still have to finish the base, and I'm not sure if I should add highlights to the dragon. Oh, with the UV, it's so cool, man.
That is very impressive with the UV.
Oh, yeah. So did Green Stuff World Fluoro, eh?
Yeah. I've heard very mixed things about Green Stuff World. Like, I've got some Green Stuff World products, but I'm not going to go into that rant. I'm going to say that the miniature looks really good. I really like it, and I can see why he's worried about doing more on it. But if I was you at this point in time, I'd clean up that hair and rim that base.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it looks
I
great.
Would say this.
Yeah. All right, next up. Is this it? Is this?
I don't know. I thought this was done months ago, man.
All right, you shush you, because it seems that it is not on any of the panels. So we've got to check. There's so many. So many. All right. All right. So here we go.
Yeah, need to varnish, I think, but I'm calling her done. Finish the gun and a couple other torches, like the scorch mark on the front bump up. Okay, I had to cover a blooper I made tonight, but couldn't undo. Photos finish with a live UV for fun. Oh, he even added UV.
Yeah, so the UV is that little crystal down there. So I think this...
I figured that he would put it on the plasma as well, the plasma guns.
Maybe we'll see.
I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, the light bulb coming off the top. Yeah, there's a little bit more UV splattered around on the top too. So it's it's cool.
Okay.
There we have it. Okay.
It does look like there's some on there, like you said.
It should be on the plasma. But
yeah,
the question
it does.
is this, right? Like, if let's say Larry's using this for a game, is he gonna like shine a UV light on it to?
Maybe he is.
Just to show.
You know, I have the feeling that Larry doesn't play a lot of games. I have the feeling that Larry's a bit like us and paints a lot of models.
I wonder how he would display it. Like, would he put it in a case with the UV light setting or something and just turn it on when guests arrive and be like, "Hey, look at this."
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I think that a lot of work has been put into it, and I think honestly, I've got to agree with Sonny. I think maybe you should have finished up a while back, because it's what do we call that when you keep
it's never finished.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah, diminishing returns.
Because I think that it was looking great some time ago, and like, I'll admit there's nice little additions you've done, like the glows and these sorts of things, right? But I don't think that they've been so impactful that they have.
I'm also struggling.
They haven't been so impactful.
Yeah. I think for Larry it was more like, this is the piece.
Yeah.
And he wanted it to reach the satisfaction that he wanted from it. And I just thought that he did mention, I think it was several months ago, that he finished it. I thought it was done, honestly. And then he was still going on with it. I think he just wanted to meet that satisfaction, and I think he's reached that point now.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully he's not going to find more faults with it or anything, because then it'll never be done.
Yeah. I think that's the big problem. You've got to cut yourself off at a certain point, otherwise you're gonna drive yourself mad. I think it's a great
piece. It's really good.
It's just, yeah.
At some point, you yourself won't notice certain things once you put it in the case and stuff.
All right. So,
anyhow, we will move on to Lance.
And he's got some burbs.
He's got latest work, not the greatest, but I actually really like the burb with the more purplish coat because that actually contrasts with the yellow paint.
Well, I think that one of the things that he's done really well is, speaking of contrast, the contrast of the feathers. Like, they come up very nicely. He's really pushed it all the way almost to white, it seems. And I think that comes up very nicely. Also, I like how he's just done the white dot for the for one of the birds and the yellow dot for the other, right? He's not going too crazy with anything, just, does exactly, just enough to make things pop off the base.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is what it is. It's a nice tabletop paint job, and it does its job.
Righto.
All right. We have up next.
Silent guest.
Silent guest. We have up next silent guest, do we?
Yeah, it's been a little busy. Wednesday whip, Stormlight continues working on Bridge 4. Using my fanciest Devil's Tool, I put down the base skin tones on Rock, Lopen, and Kaladin, along with spraying Rock's uniform, Prussian blue.
See, a very clean desk. You know what
I'm trying to be better about it. It currently doesn't look like that, but I'm trying to be better about cleaning as I go and staying more organized. And yeah,
you know what they say about
part of my goals.
a clean desk. There's no work done on it.
Oh, honey.
See,
You've got more organization.
Well, listen,
he's
look,
doing it by himself.
There's...
He doesn't need a Sunny to organize the work.
Yeah, here's the thing. What happens at a train station where the trains stop, right? So what happens, what happens at a bus station? It's where the buses stop.
Okay.
Right? So what happens at a painting station? It's where the painting stops.
Very good.
Ba-dum-bum.
All right. So next up we got James.
James!
I wonder if we have a Raven in the chat.
It hasn't popped up any time since now. Would have been here.
He doesn't necessarily comment until it's his turn.
That's not
He's
true.
He's very polite.
He usually comes on way before.
All right. Well, would you like to use your words?
My updated will speed run this because it's just a number of small improvements. Took the advice from last review live stream. Deep gray to darken the command armor. The red line along Femshep arm. Demon Blood FX watered down for the inner part of the energy ball with a dry brush electric blue for the outer lines, with some magic blue on her cheeks and forehead to help bring more color to her face, while leaving her eyes and mouth as more darker areas. Might be hard to tell in the pictures. Finally, some ice yellow highlights on the orange blade, and I am finally starting the last miniature of the board game. Talizora was Normandy. Sorry, Talizora Vast Normandy. No, I am not calling any of them finished. I still want feedback. I'm just starting the last squad member and was worried there might be a miscommunication. Keep those brushes.
Okay, great. All right. Well, so just taking a look at it, I do think that there's a lot more contrast with the energy ball, but maybe try a very light dry brush, and see if you can catch the edges of the energy ball. I do like the colors that you've used here for the Omni tool thing, but I think still these they could go
a bit darker some more.
Yeah, they could.
It's getting there. You could go even darker, actually. Maybe even another 2 coats.
You could go even darker. I think that the stripe here, that's fine.
Very well done.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Taking a look, what do you think of Liara now?
I think it's looking good. I do think that he could try a little bit of highlights for her face. Because she's more like one skin color as compared to the other two, where you've got a hair, you've got a face to differentiate, but she's just all blue. So I think he could really try his hand at highlighting faces now.
Yeah. So the only thing that I look at is along the shoulders, along the top of the breast here. I think that you could very much push your white there. If you've got something brighter as the white, to bring attention to that. I think that the edge highlighting here, right there, looks very nice. I think that a lot of James's edge highlighting here looks quite nice. But yeah, even so, like for example, within here, you could like go much darker. One of the things that you might want to do potentially, no, I'm not going to recommend that. I was going to recommend either using a contrast paint or a wash to like sort of give you the outline of the areas you want to darken, but I don't think that that would be right now. Just yeah, I feel like that this dark grey is still a bit too bright for it.
Yeah.
But I do feel like that the red line is very good. I like the Omni tool.
I like the ball in her hand, the Liara's hand.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about the Omni tool itself, and I think unfortunately they should have done this bit in like clear plastic, because I'm just trying to think how you'd get that effect, and I don't think that there's any good way to get that effect.
I think this is as close as you could get.
Yeah. Because
like plastic, clear colored plastic will look a bit darker in the middle, and then the very edges, because of the way that light reflects, it looks like it's glowing a bit. It's a very bright color, so I think that's good.
Yeah, it's as good as
it's gonna get.
Yeah. All right. So next up we have somebody.
Silent guest once again.
Guest of silence.
Whip Wednesday, a bit more work on Kaladin and Lopen.
And you've done more work on these guys since. Is this guy missing an arm?
He is.
I see. He took the Stephen King route.
Yeah.
I always like it when people with only one arm uses a two-handed weapon.
Is that a two-handed weapon? Yeah, I suppose it is. But what else is he gonna use?
He never really fights, so I think that's
Well, look, if you're going to choose a two-handed weapon, a spear is the best of all two-handed weapons to choose, because I mean, like, you can get some fair bit of distance, and all you're really trying to do is create some distance between you and your opponent. But enough about silly fantasy fights. Let's talk about not silly fantasy fights.
My new project is a trio of crisis suits. Wanted to keep pushing, so I'm trying to go at slightly more elaborate bases.
Well, and he's just showing off how he's starting off with the bases, which is interesting. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of the process. And the biggest thing with bases, which is important, is I know that this sounds really dumb, but it is just how you do it. You go from largest to smallest. That's how you put down your bases. You put down your largest stuff first, and then your smallest stuff last. That's it. No fanciness to it. And you will get good results when you do that. Speaking of good results,
we've got Carlos.
The
first one of a couple of publications. This is the second to last mini of Tiny Epic Dungeon. Very happy with the blue parts. The reds are more of a challenge, so I'm very satisfied in how they look. Some feedback on the photos per se. I took about an hour or so taking the pictures, and these are the best looking ones I took. But they fell a wee bit off.
So I think that the photos are fine. I don't have any problem with the photos, because you've got to remember the scale of these guys. They're very, very small. So I think that the problem that you're having with red is you're starting too saturated. So you take a look, especially on this side, you can see it. He's gone very far into the yellows, and it looks more like an orange red than it does look like a true red.
Yeah.
And so when I take a look at that, I think that the blues have come out fantastically. Now, I think that if you said that you were going for red here, like, they haven't come out as well at all. I'm not saying that the execution is bad. Let me be very clear on that. Because execution-wise, this miniature is brilliant. But if you're aiming for red, I don't think that you hit what you wanted to hit. And, like, that's what we always say about our advice. You know, you've got to try and suit your advice to the person who you're talking to, rather than giving just generic advice.
I would say I actually quite like, but
the orange red.
But I do see what you're saying. It does look like orange red, but it still does look like red. But if he wanted to go for that true proper red, then yeah, he started too bright. But I don't think it's the worst color combination against that blue.
Color combination wise, it's fantastic.
It still looks nice. But I think that's also because it looks closer to orange.
Exactly.
That it contrasts so well with the blue.
Yeah. So when I look at this, what I think you could do is you could go less saturated. So it seems like you went from like dark browns into reds and that sort of thing. This is one of the reasons why Gal Vorbak red is one of my favorite reds, because it's a desaturated purple red, and that is just such a great start, because you can go from that desaturated purple red all the way up into a vibrant red, and you're still going to have that
definition,
that great level of contrast. And that's why I really like Gal Vorbak red.
And it does matter which color you choose as your base, because if you start with a more red browns, you are more likely to go into the oranges as compared to if you started with like a desaturated purplish red. And
or even going from like blacks, like you're going to like consider how far you want to go up or down. Like, we've got a short specifically on highlighting reds, because reds is just such a
finicky color.
Yeah, especially when it comes to highlighting.
Yeah, highlighting primaries can be very difficult. Red and yellow is difficult to highlight.
I don't.
Blue is fairly easy.
Blue is fairly easy, but I think like red is much more difficult than yellow or blue. Like yellow, I think I can highlight no problems.
Yeah, but most people don't think to start at like a orange or like orangey brown or even a brown. They sometimes make the mistake of starting with black, mixing yellow in, and then it makes it green.
Yeah.
So these ones here as well, guys. Do you think the putty that he's using to attach, because it is such a bright orange, might be clashing with the model a little bit?
It could. That can happen.
But the skirt, there's more of a red there.
Yeah, like a proper red there. The skirt like a maroon.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to think on that for a second, Rumble. Because just thinking,
I would say that can play a part. He's not wrong.
All right,
I've been I with my finger going, is it just the putty or not?
Okay, no. So like I just put my hand over the area that covers the putty, right? So if you take a look at this very vibrant orange red, right, which is meant to be that sort of gingerish tone.
Yes.
Right? And if we go back and we take a look at some of the reds in there, you'll see that some of the reds aren't that far off from this gingerish tone right here. I bet if you had them next to one another, the mid-tone of this would be the same as the highlight of the other color.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's the biggest thing. He did very much go into the yellows with that, which is fine here for that sort of very vibrant, fiery
ginger hair.
Yeah, but one of the things that I gotta compliment a lot is look at how he's given texture to these models with all of those little bits of
Metal,
scratches and that sort of thing. And that's pretty crazy considering the size of these models, because these are not regular sized models. Because
these are like 25 mil.
I'm not sure. They might be even smaller than that, even 15 mil, because I'm pretty sure that that's a sort of 25 mil area, I think, or 32 mil area.
Are we usually painting at 25 mil?
Are we?
32.
They're closer to 28 than they are to 15. I'd say probably about 25 is right. Because, I used to have that game.
Yeah. But
they're almost normal D&D size minis, but yeah.
Ah, well, I didn't know D&D was quite small then.
It depends on who you're getting the models off. So certain companies will have certain scales, and it will very much depend. And it'll also depend on the year it's released. So older models at 25mm will be tiny compared to modern 25mm scale. Because scale creep is a thing. But yeah, I think this one's looking great. I really like it. I think the texture that he's added to all of these things is great. I love all of it, and I think the color contrast on this is fantastic.
Like everything pops. Like nothing's clashing with each other.
Yep.
You can see very clearly every single element.
I think the only thing that clashes at all is the skirt with the hair, and like that's pretty minor.
Yeah, but it's got a good enough differentiation.
And it's the same with the scarf on the back.
Yeah.
With the hair. But I mean, like, that's pretty minor.
But he's got a good enough differentiation that it feels like two separate.
Alright.
Oh, what is this? It's so cute.
So next up, we've got Carlos again.
I have two lots of minis to paint. One are the zombies from Zombicide's Black Plague. No pictures yet, and the dragons from Flamecraft. Just prime them and put on the base coat.
I wonder what Flamecraft is.
I don't know. But he's a cute-looking dragon.
It's a very family-weight board game. Just basically recipe fulfillment. There was a Kickstarter a couple years ago. It's available retail as well, but the Kickstarter edition has the fancy dragons and stuff. So, it's based on, and it's sold extremely well because of the artwork.
Oh,
and the artist that did it, they have some webcomic that's pretty. It's an okay game, but the production values are phenomenal.
Ducky says he likes how vibrant and cheerful the models look. And well, maybe you can give these ones a try.
So this is.
Look at that. So... Yeah, it's definitely a family-friendly game for the kiddos.
I like Flamecraft. I've got a copy myself.
Oh, do you?
I sold mine because I have like 100 family weight games, and that one was
Yeah, they've got it at JB Hi-Fi now. I saw like 50 copies.
Really?
The other day, yeah.
I see.
What, 50 copies?
It was so rare to get before.
Is it like a book? What is it?
No, it's a board game. They've just been saying that the whole time.
Yeah, no, that's a board game, but why is there 50 copies?
So that people will buy them. Do you not?
No, why does Rumble have 50 of these games?
No, JB Hi-Fi.
Oh, JB Hi-Fi.
No, it was a Kickstarter, and it was very hard to get a hold of for a long time. And then it became popular, and they've released it en masse now.
Do you guys see what I'm dealing with every day? No one pays attention. No one named Sonny, that is.
Excuse me, I pay the most attention
no
in
comment.
this house. Other people.
My wife's behind me as well, so.
All right. You want to go up and we'll take a look at the next one? But yeah, that looks like a fun little game.
I paint it. It's so cute.
Yeah. Speaking of so cute, I think this is one of Lance's best paint jobs.
Yeah, tonight
like
on
I'm not
stage.
gonna be silly and say, it's the best paint job of this year. I mean, I think it's one of his best paint jobs in quite a while, like maybe a couple of months. Because I really like the way that he's got all the little spruiks under here, all the little details, and the way that he's given directionality to the eyes. So the way that he's got that black area and the little white dot, and he's done it on both of them so that you can see the directionality.
Yeah.
And I just think
He's called the Blue Bard of Happiness.
Yes. I like it.
I feel happy just looking at him.
I think he's done
I'm
great.
just imagining it that he's finished his song. He's not actually singing. He's just got his mouth open and going, "Worms, please."
And everyone goes, "Yay!
Yeah.
Woo, 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 woo,
Worms,
woo."
please. I get paid in worms.
Throw worms at him or coins, and then
Well,
he's like, "I can't eat any of
have
this."
you seen that? Have you seen that thing where it's the very young bird, and it's on the ground, and it sees this worm crawling along, and it keeps opening its mouth at the worm, and the worm, is going off elsewhere, and he's like, "What's happening? It's not in my mouth."
You have to pick it up.
And then he just points his mouth at it again, like he opens up his mouth and just sort of
It's like, aren't you gonna get into my mouth? It's like, that's not how this works, buddy.
Yes.
Not how this works.
Sorry, kid, you didn't sing a song first.
Yeah, no, he just like flies down, puts his fingers on the guitar, and then just opens his mouth and
Well, go on. Gonna do something cool? No.
Alright, so next up
We've got silent guest once again.
Yeah. So a bit more work on Lopin and Kaladin. I'm quite pleased with how the wooden floor turned out for Lopin, and I think he's about 95% done. Kaladin is still a bit of a mess, but I'm not sure yet what I want to do with him.
What is going on with his shield?
So his armor, his shield, all of that is basically cobbled together from carapaces and body parts from slain Parshindis during their battles in the
What?
Like I said, they're slaves at this point. They're not actually they're slaves they're bridge runners. Long story. I don't want to spoil the book, but yeah.
So what is a Pashindi?
So the Relaine character that you've seen in some of my other paintings, he's a Parshindi. So
is this people? Is this just people?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I'm spoiling the book.
Yeah.
They run on bridges. That's all we need to know.
Okay.
They cross bridges.
Oh, no comments. We got to move on.
Carry bridges.
All right. So
The soldiers.
next up, we've got Davith, and Davith.
Is still making.
He's still making things. That's correct.
That's great. It's good. Where the painting though?
Are you going to comment on his thing or no?
No. I think we're
Never
enabling
win
him.
priming competition like this.
I'm sorry, David. We're making a new rule. We will skip over David's post until he paints something.
Or until you start a "What Are You Assembling Now" channel.
Let's. Okay. One sec. I think he's just going through his process of what he did to make sure that, like, this guy would actually have a decent pose when running, because so, like, that's the whole reason he's using part of this flight stand, and he's drilled through the base and that sort of thing, just so that it has a decent level of momentum, because often these things will look very static.
Yeah, so I think this has brought in a nice amount of movement in.
Yeah, I'd agree. But, Davith, there's only so much I can do to hold her back. She will just click the mouse for me. She doesn't pay attention to things, and I am beaten. I'm blinking right now. Someone help me.
What aren't you painting now? Let's keep our brushes dry.
Alright.
Kindly painting to WAYPN. WAYPN. What are you building now?
No,
I guess that's what it is.
No, we are not doing WAYPN.
WAYPN. Bin chickens.
Yes.
Wait till that glue dries.
Kindly currently painting 2 copies of the Jacques warband for God tier. There's just too many browns and brown adjacents needed. But I think it's coming together. Gonna break it up with vibrant potions in those cauldrons. I'm thinking neon green for one warband and fluoro purple for the other. If this sounds bad, please stop me ASAP. Whoever put all those spiders and bugs over that gobbo with the net needs taking out back and shooting. They have no details and their legs are thinner than hair. But they're too obvious not to paint. They're horrible. I spent the evening undercoating them. I'm hoping a gentle coat of the right color shift paint and they'll be as good as I can get them.
Well, so what I want to compliment Joseph on here, right, is how good he is at replicating his process exactly. Because you take a look at these 2 guys.
They look exactly.
Exactly. And I think like that takes talent. And like I know like some people like, oh, they look exactly the same. What's the thing? Look, it is so easy to stuff things up and like not be able to replicate those patterns, but I think that's why he's doing them together, because he wants to get them exact. And because I do believe that he's doing this for a friend's son. If I remember from the past posts. But I think that looks really good. And as far as fluoro purple and fluoro green,
I think they work.
They're good color choices.
I think, honestly, any color will be.
No, I think purple and green are good for those particular ones. All right. And next up we have Thomas.
My gosh, look at this thing. Is this a Galvar back?
No, it is not a Galvar back. Oh, actually, no. I'm going to take that back. I don't know.
It's quite a long time since I last posted something. Well, it's quite a long time since I last painted something. So I decided to finally do something with Hellbrute.
Mm-hmm.
I assembled around 2 years ago when I started with painting Warhammer minis. Or rather, assembling Warhammer minis. It took me another half year.
But he did also paint them.
Did them very, very nicely.
Yes.
Another half year or so to actually try to paint something. Now I learned the hard way why I should made him in more than 2 sub-assemblies. So guys, don't be me and make your more complicated or detailed models in sub-assemblies.
Mm-hmm.
The idea behind it was to make the flesh parts look like bare muscles without skin, and I finally managed to achieve it, to some extent, on the legs. It's first time I paint some gore or body horror stuff, so it's
Hold up. I just want to concentrate on this for a second. So if we take a look at everything else, right? So if we start off here and all of this sort of thing, like it's very, very impressive. And I'm not having a go at his painting skills, right? But then we go to here and it looks like he's got these tiny little pants.
He does.
You know, and it's just like, why are my pants so tiny?
It does look like tiny pants.
And like, I'm like, oh man, this looks so good. And like,
It's
the way
so epic.
the way he does his flesh and everything, and then like, illusion shattered. I think that this is brilliant painting. I think that you got exactly what you were going for. I think that the flesh is done really well. The only thing that I would say about any of it is that there's not a lot of contrast in these big panels right here. There's no sort of rust or non-metallic sheen, true metallic sheen or anything like that. The gold's nice, but I think what I look at is just how nice that flesh effect is, right? And when I look at how nice that flesh effect is, so I think this panel looks decent, right? But if you take a look at a lot of the other panels, especially like ones which aren't the shoulder pads, they're quite flat. You see what I'm saying? And I just look at that and I just think to myself, well, like, you put so much effort into everything else, I think you should try and add some of that effort to some of the other parts. Because I think, yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic work with the flesh. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I like the little eyes there and all of these little extra details. But, yeah, then I look at these big old panels and they're just so flat by comparison.
Well, I think he's using, if he's going for a true metallic metal, because he's obviously using metallic base, highlighting such a smooth surface with metals can be quite
Troublesome.
Difficult as well. Get the reflections right.
So you think just leave it?
Yeah, because I feel the flesh is really taking the center stage, and that's what
it should be doing. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I disagree, but like we've said on our latest video, it is okay for people to disagree. And like there's a reason why there's at least 2 of us hosting this every time, so that you
get a more nuanced opinion.
Well, maybe not more nuanced, but like you can see more than one perspective. And you can go with the one you agree with the most. All right. So next up, we have gas.
John Gas.
Gas. Gotta give it the gas tonight.
Getting very close to finished with the lion. Thoughts on the model and how I can take better pictures. Do not use a flash and focus the camera.
I don't think that this is a flash. I think
might
that
be the
this
light. Okay, I think the light maybe a bit too close. Try to push it up.
I think that might be natural light coming in from this direction.
Oh, well, I'm
not sure.
know.
Or because it's very harsh because you can see how harsh it is along there.
So you might need to, if it's a lamp, you got to push the bulb to face the ceiling. If it is not, I cannot control the environment.
And you want to diffuse the light.
Yes.
So just like
a cloth of some sort.
Yeah, cloth, like a t-shirt,
cloth.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a colored one, but a white one. And then also make sure to tap your camera app at the part that you want it to focus, so that it tells the camera where you want it to focus, because it's a bit blurry. So got it.
So once again, I will add the same bits of advice that I did last time. If this is dust, if this is pigment powder, I think you should bring it back just a little bit. Just get a Q-tip, have it a bit wet, and just rub along those edges.
Yeah.
Or even get blue tack and just dab. But other than that, there's nothing here that I see where I say, this one thing will significantly change the model. I think you're pretty much there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything.
But I do tell you what, the way that it is on the plinth looks absolutely beautiful. I like it.
Very nice plinth, boy.
I don't think that there's anything else we can say on this one.
I don't think so, yeah. Plus, I think we might if we had a less bright picture, but other than that, I think it's looking great.
Yeah. Alright, so...
There's more RJ with more lighting.
Okay, so I'm just trying to take a look at some of the lighting here and seeing if it's hitting...
That one's gone too far.
Along here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would... Yeah, okay. But that's just with the back area with the cape, right?
Yeah, but everywhere else at the front angle is good. Hold on. This is good. This is great because you've got it a bit more controlled. I wouldn't go as far up as the arm and here along the hair, or even the...
I don't know about that. Like, okay, so there's nothing that's stopping it from reaching up there.
The cloak of the top. Can I borrow the mouse?
Where do we want to look?
Can I borrow a mouse, please?
I'm never heard from again, just know that I need to be avenged.
So this section here would be blocking the light. So like if it reaches up to this point, sure, but not past there. Like you see it's touching the hair?
I think that hair goes beyond that further. Yeah,
Okay.
See? Look. No. Go, stop.
Oh, no, you gotta see it here, so okay, fine.
Yeah, it does go beyond there.
Fine, alright. I still feel it might be a bit too much.
But yeah, I think I like the colored lights. Oh, this one's gonna.
This one.
That's no.
Not
I'm done. I'm done after. Oh, why? Why? It's time for sadness.
What was that, Rumble? Oh,
Hashtag angels up.
Airbrush some army paint a strong shade tone around the ankles.
Alright, that's great. We can move on now.
Yeah. Like, must be like.
Alright, fine. Finish reading.
A little too strong on the inside ankle, the lower areas of the foot, and the creases and gaps of the toes. Also put a first coat on the toenails. Room to work still, but that's all for today. Why does he even have this foot?
It's the Monty Python foot.
I know it's the Monty Python foot, but why?
Because it's a miniature that comes with the Monty Python box set.
In the skits, there was always a foot that would crush the people.
Yeah, he showed me.
But it was never implied that it was cut off, though. I don't know why it's like got the bone and the muscles.
Because in one of the pictures, so let's see.
I thought you wanted to move on.
Yes, one second. It's very important. Monty Python.
About it
now it's important. Now. It wasn't 2 seconds ago.
Shush, you. So in the box set, where is it?
That picture seems like it.
Yeah, see here. That's how they did it.
Yeah.
They So when they were doing those things,
the Holy Grail with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they had it cut off in a lot of the artwork. When they. What do you call it? They had it cut off for like the VHS because that's when it first came out. And the tapes. But that's showing my age a bit, the cassette tapes. Do you know I first experienced Monty Python and the Holy Grail on cassette tape, and I was so confused because the sound of the quote-unquote horses is just the sound you hear of horses in every other thing, right? And then they're talking about the coconuts, and I'm like, what is going on? Because what they do in the show is they have a peasant riding, going behind them and slapping coconuts together to make the horse noises. But of course, on a cassette tape, you're just hearing the audio, so it just sounds like a horse, and you're just like, why are
like
they
an audio drama? And it's like, why are you wearing brown? I'm wearing this brown in particular because it's brown.
All right. Well, would you like to read about turquoise turkey?
Airbrush dark turquoise over what I did before and expanded how much of the ice was covered. Left some white areas I plan to go back over with white as frost effect and leave the ice largely blue. Then did bands on the back of regular turquoise along with the face and edges of the ice. Toying with the dark magenta for the claws with purple or violet and lavender. We'll see. Paint was in the airbrush. I added a touch to the base of the ghost guy and sprayed the little marine figure coming out of the Christmas bag.
I see. Well, I think that the
icy.
The ice is coming up a lot better than last time we saw it. But I think this guy has come a long way from where we saw it, and hopefully it will grow and evolve and...
Icy, zoom.
thing about large ice as well is it gets very dark.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't think about like what icebergs actually look like, but they start very dark on the center.
Because it's the same thing as crystals. They're very dark. The bigger they are because of the way the light diffusion works.
Yeah, it's very dense.
Well, it's because the light gets bounced around inside them, and at the bottom is where the light comes out. But they'll still have along the tips that white because essentially the crystals have been bouncing the light around in those. But yeah. Alright. So next up we have more Larry.
Something for Penguin.
Yes, this is specifically for you, Penguin. So Penguin, Ducky, I hope that you guys are
Close my eyes.
Yeah. Everybody else close your eyes. Especially if you're in traffic. That is a joke. Do not close your eyes in traffic.
Okay, the big one for today.
Really?
I put down some chipping fluid, let dry 15 minutes as directed. Then airbrush the blue over top and let that dry about 24 hours since apparently enamel takes a while to dry. It's dry, but feels a little tacky. It still has an odor. Used a little moistened nylon brush to try the chipping, which did not work. Then tried a brass brush lightly. Seemed to work at first, but then I noticed I wasn't seeing the gray metal base coat I put on, but gray plastic. This was the first time I ever used an enamel, so I'm not sure if I put it on correctly. I'm not super happy with the result. I had the paint bottle for 34 years. I mean, waiting for a chance to use it all this time.
That might be more.
Why?
Yeah, that might be the problem with the enamel. The slight, because I think that effect looks good, but if that's raw plastic, yeah, I can see why you're upset with that. But yeah,
one thing with, as you guys probably know about, like solvents. So enamel beats acrylic, and lacquer beats enamel. So essentially, he probably should have put down a lacquer coat before he put down the chipping.
Okay, yeah.
So because the enamel thinner doesn't eat through lacquer.
Well, problem solved, Larry.
Problem solved.
Solvent.
Yes, that was the point.
But
there was an old Australian ad where it goes, "Problem solved."
McCain, you've done it again.
There we go.
Well, it's silent guest's turn.
Well, wait.
No, it's not.
We're gonna see if there's anything more. No, it does look like. Oh no, there is one more post from Silent Guest. So we will see Silent Guest post number 1, and then Silent Guest post number 2. All right, are we ready?
Yeah, sure. All right. Friday morning whip. Stuff Sun Volano footless. The Assassin White makes another appearance. Actually, this would be his first appearance if I were painting things in order.
Kid, I'm pretty sure that they're a liar. I can see a foot right there. Trust me, I'm a foot specialist.
What's that?
Look at his rear
At
leg.
the Monty Python foot for too long.
That's where it went.
There's no foot.
Yeah, no,
They
but it's
took it
not
from this
footless.
guy.
He's one foot.
Yeah, he's 1 foot less.
It's a play on he's Sun Volano truthless in the book.
I see.
Anyway, unfortunately I dropped him and his foot broke off and I can't seem to find it.
Whoopsie.
A few of these sculpts have some really weak spots, such as all the spearheads. I'm doing things a bit out of order since I wanted to use the airbrush to spray most of the clothes without worrying about overspray, so now I'll have to be extra careful when doing the face and hands.
Well, does he have invisibility powers?
No. Unfortunately, no.
It's a foreshadowing for the next book that's coming up.
Yeah.
Is that...
He's like the guy with the spear.
Is that the one with John Travolta? Is it?
Which one?
Is it a Footloose one? No.
Footloose
Yes.
with
That's
Kevin Bacon.
yeah. No.
John Travolta.
Well, I know they all dance. They all do something, you know. I think I clicked
Dancing
the
is the
wrong.
work of the devil.
I think I clicked the wrong thing. But yes. All right. So next up we have some more by Silent Guest, because some
Yeah,
more is done.
Did you find the foot?
No, it's not.
No, he just angled it so that you can't see it.
Added some skin tones, blacked out the sword, and started doing a bit of highlighting on the clothes.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, that's how you do it. Like, that's what it's about. It is about works in progress. And apparently the thing over here not working properly anymore. But like that's how we do things. You get things done in stages. They don't just pop out fully complete. And that's what WAYPN's all about. It's about actually showing your works in progress, actually seeing people get things done, because a lot of people see absolutely fantastic finished models. I think especially in areas like heavy metal and things like this, because I think people take a look at that and it can be a bit demotivating. And I think it's really important to understand that painting is a process. You're going to have the stage like this where you're using your aluminium wires and you're like, I don't know if this is working out or not. You're going to have a time where you did a zenithal paint job and it turns out that the yellow contrast didn't work. So you're going to have to go and do it all manually. And also, you're going to have times where you spend months on a model and maybe those tiny extra steps, well, were they worth it? And having some honest feedback might help, because like here, you know, we say maybe you should add, maybe you should take away, you know, and it's good to know that it's not just bare plastic, the finished paint job. So I would like to say to everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, keep those brushes wet.
Wet.
What? Rebel. Why are you